Hi, I'm Brianna, and this is my sister Kimmy or Kimberly, and welcome to our amazing kids. And today I'm gonna make pupusas. So first, what you're gonna need is some of this flour. How do you pronounce it?
Maseca.
Maseca, and you're gonna need to add water in a separate bowl. We came with some pre-made dough, so you won't really. I'm not going to show you how, but it's pretty easy. It's like making a cake. So what you're going to do is you're going to take like a ball of dough and you're going to make it into a perfect circle. And then you're going to kind of just push on it for a little and try to roll it out and try to make it as perfect as a circle. Pupusas originated in El Salvador, where both of my parents are from, and they were made by the indigenous Pipil tribe over 2,000 years ago. And as you know, there wasn't really much ingredients back then, so you kind of needed to pull everything together. And right here, this is just some cheese, just some mozzarella cheese that
With some water and salt.
with some water and salt, and
A little bit of salt and a little bit of water.
What's the machine called that we used for it?
I don't know. It's kind of just grinded it up to make it kind of like into a dough.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes it easier to like move with the masa, this is masa in Spanish. Yeah.
So after that, you're gonna just need to try to close it up. Just like this. And this is a pretty easy thing to make, like it's not gonna take you very long. So once you have that and you have it closed up like this, you're gonna like pound on it a little so it all kind of forms into a quesadilla with like 2 tortillas on top. Anyways, as I was saying before, so pretty much for when they didn't have a lot of ingredients, they kind of just try to pull everything together, and there was like grains and you could like get like flour from it. So I've heard a story before that it was just like this lady who didn't know how to like what to cook that night for her family and her husband. So she took some random ingredients and threw them all together. Like she took beans and she took cheese and she kind of did all this, but like I guess she had it kind of harder because she had to grind like the corn and all that. And she put it all together and her family really liked it. So they opened it up, shared the recipe, and it got famous.
So do you want to
Yeah.
spray some oil on the pan? Yeah. We're just putting on. Yeah.
So usually you don't need to spray oil, but for this type of pan that we have, we need to spray some oil. Just gonna.
And we're using avocado oil. Do you want to tell them about the other things they can put? What's that like? Other ingredients, meats.
Yeah. So cheese is pretty much one of the most common, but there's a whole bunch of other things. So real quick, I'm gonna kind of just press down on it a little to make it a little more flat. And I think I'm gonna make some more while that's cooking. So there's pork. Pork is my personal favorite, even though I don't really like pork. But in pupusas, it's just different. Like it's 100% way better, in my opinion. So I'm gonna do the same thing as before. Just roll it up into a ball and kind of just flatten it onto my hand. Add a little bit of the cheese that we have over here.
Remember, as kids, we used to make baby ones. You want to make a baby one? I'll make a baby one.
Yeah. Whenever my mom would be making this, because we have this so much, because as I told you, my parents are from El Salvador, where they came from. And honestly, for a little while, I did get bored of it. But after you stop, it gets more easy to eat it. And like, you kind of miss it since like it's your culture and everything. And it's kind of what you're used to.
I never get bored of it. This is my favorite
It's
thing.
because like whenever we're like in San Francisco or going other places, they usually have like a lot of Salvadorian restaurants, and like pretty much my parents always get this like huge plate with like pupusas, empanadas, plátanos, all that good stuff. And like I got a little bored of it, but I I never really get super bored of it. It's not ready yet.
Yeah, just check it though. Make
Okay, I'm gonna check it real quick. Okay, it looks like it's almost ready to flip it over.
Look?
So this one's a little thick. I should have thinned it out a little more. But how it's supposed to look is like if you have like a pretty thin one, then there's like gonna be, it's gonna look a little brown on the edges, and that's when you know that you can flip it over. Yeah, like this. This looks good.
Usually we don't really use spatulas. We just use our hands to flip it, because I don't know why, but maybe it's in the genes, but we don't really have that much like our heat tolerance is pretty high, so we can like touch the pan, but yeah. But in this case, we're using spatula.
Yeah. So back to like the ingredients that you can also use for this. I'm gonna make a mini one right now. So you can also use, there's like, I've seen some chicken ones. I've never really tried them, but I've seen there's chicken, there's beef, there's like loroco, which is like a flour, right?
Flour, yeah.
Yeah, it's a flour, and it's like, I personally don't like that one, but she loves it.
That's my favorite one. Yeah. It's cheese and flour, and it's in this, and it's so good.
There's also like pretty much the ones that you'll probably try or find the most if you like search them up or do some research about them. You'll probably find cheese, beans, or pork. Those are the top 3 most popular pupusas. And
what's your favorite?
My favorite is pork.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah. There's actually like pork and cheese or pork and cheese and beans. I'm gonna see if it's good.
Ooh.
Okay.
Good
I'm
job.
gonna let it cook on a little more on this side real quick. But pork and cheese is one of the most. It's called revuelta, and it's pretty popular anywhere. Like it's really good. You should probably try it. Pork is it takes a little more time because you have to grind the pork and you had to like put a whole bunch of more ingredients in it and help make the pork like kind of like the cheese, so it takes a little longer. But this one, the cheese, it's pretty basic and it's pretty easy to do. I'm gonna go over here and here we go.
Beautiful.
Here's our first one. Do you want to add another one real quick?
You want to do 2 babies or the baby ones?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're adding in the baby ones because we can put 3 at a time.
Yeah. So, as like I was saying, as we eat these a lot at our house. Like my mom will make them all the time, and my dad absolutely loves them. And like the thing is, sometimes there's not enough for him because when he comes home late after work, like an hour or 2 after we've eaten dinner, there's usually like not a lot like he likes, so he gets a little sad. But they're pretty easy to make, and like there's leftover ingredients sometimes, so sometimes we can make a little more. And honestly, there's like a lot of different types not like a lot of different types, but like kind of like when you have a pizza, if you go like to the side of the road, it's usually going to be a greasy pizza, like a thin greasy pizza. It's like kind of the same with these. Like there's some pretty oily one, whereas there's fried. My mom doesn't like to make those because she's kind of healthy and trying to keep us all healthy and like that. But honestly, those are for sure my favorite. Like my mom's are really, really super good, but the ones, they're just like, because a couple years ago we went to El Salvador ourselves, and like my grandma, she'd like always make these. She would sell them on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or like twice a week. I can't remember the exact dates, but that's what I'm gonna
in a tiny
say.
Village in Morazan called, what is it called? La Laguna. And it's like a really tiny village, and everybody goes there to eat the pupusas that my grandma makes, and it's really awesome to see. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah. There's so many different other foods in our culture and like country too that are really good. Like there's, as I was saying, empanadas, plátanos, tostadas, sopes, so many things. And it's kind of like similar with Mexicans. Like they eat all the things that we do too. Like we eat tacos and burritos, like the things that originated in Mexico, and they eat all this too. But like there's like a small little neighborhood, like couple miles away, and like they always sell some on Fridays, and it's like so good to just like after a long day at school or work, just to go pick up some, like make an order, just pick up some after like a really hard day. But like these are like the greasy, oily ones, so they're like amazing, in my opinion. Like these are really good.
She likes the non-healthy ones, is what she's saying.
I do. I really like the unhealthy ones. And like everything is just like
Don't
different.
tell Mom that.
I know. I won't tell her. Even though she knows, like I always tell her like, oh, when can we have some of this? When can we have some like of those? And she always says like, oh,
You're running out of Masa.
I know. I'm gonna make a mini one. Or else I'll try.
You want to tell them what those things are?
Yeah. Okay. So
You made
real
the mini.
quick.
Wow.
Hold on. I want to just. So this is salsa. It's my mom told me that. My mom actually made these since I can't really make these. These are like the only things I really know how to make. So this is pollo, and it's like a kind of salad, and it has vinegar, carrots, oregano, what's it called? Cabbage, onions, and a couple other things that I don't necessarily know. And this was made with, what was it called? She called cumin, tomato, yeah, obviously. Some peppers and some salt, and she just put it all in a blender with water. And after that, you like boil it onto like a normal pan, and then it's pretty easy to make. Like all this is pretty easy. This is just like making another type of salad that you've made before, and all this is super easy to make. Anyways, as I was saying before about when we went to El Salvador, there was like, she'd always make them 2 days a week, but the thing is she wouldn't like buy the bag of flour. She'd always buy like, or she wouldn't buy anything. She like, my grandpa has like this pretty huge like ranch or farm kind of thing. He has chickens and cows, and like, we call it like a jungle in his backyard because it's like really cool. Like there's so many, like there's sugar canes, there's like different like types of lakes that you'll randomly just find, and it's pretty big and really fun to go through. And so they like, I think they grow their own corn or buy it from the market. And they also so what she does, she has this machine that she like purchased, or what our step grandmother does. Her name's Martha. She's really nice, and what she does is she has like this machine, and she puts the corn in and she like grinds it, and out comes like flour, and like then you have to add the water just like you would do with like normal like a bag of flour. And she had like this little parrot that she'd always give the leftovers to, like, and it's not a healthy diet for like a parrot at all, but he really liked it. And the thing is, like, those type of parrots around here, like, I go to Petco and PetSmart, and, like, they cost, like, almost $600. But over there, my grandpa bought them for $5, which is pretty awesome because everything is just, like, cheaper there, too.
And
like,
it's exotic, too.
And it is exotic. Like, I need braces, and my mom was just telling me, oh, I'm going to take you to Central America because they'll be way cheaper there. Like, they're a couple $1,000s here, but over there, they'll probably be, like, a couple hundred. But she was saying that as a joke. And everything's just cheaper there. And then it's just like different. Like when you have pizza here and have pizza in Italy, it's different. Like you can taste like the flavor and all the culture and like the history and like behind it. Like when we went here, like when we went to El Salvador, they were just, you could tell that they were made in El Salvador. Like it's just, I don't know how to explain it because you'd have to try it, but it's just like different. Like once you bite into it, you're like, oh, these aren't like some greasy like ones, or these aren't some healthy ones, or like in between, and they're like, you can tell they were made by a professional who grew up making them, who grew up like eating them 24/7 probably, because this is like the most popular dish from El Salvador. And these pupusas have like a lot of history behind it. Like as I told you, the story that I heard, I'm not 100% sure that it's true, but it sounds pretty realistic. Like but there's a lot of things behind it. Like they just threw together some like ingredients, which is crazy in my opinion, because how could something so good come out from like ingredients being thrown together? And
how do you eat it?
How do I eat it? I honestly don't like the cabbage because I don't like vinegar, so I don't really like the cabbage. So what I do is sometimes I like, as you can see here, like everything's on it. This is how you regularly would eat it. But what I do, I usually like pour the sauce on top or pour it on the side and dip it, or just like eat it with my hand. And it's pretty messy. That's what I'm gonna tell you. It's really messy to eat it. Like you'll have the salsa dripping all over your arm, and it's just like, but it's amazing. It's
the
so
way you're
good.
supposed to eat it.
It's the way you're supposed
with
to
like your
yeah.
hands, not with a fork.
Yeah. I think eating with a fork is probably like more neat, more like fancy in my opinion. It's like what you would do if you've never tried one before. But if you want it to be less like messy, go ahead and eat it with like a fork or knife. But if you want to eat it the old-fashioned, like the normal way, just like eat it with your hands, have it all dripping all over you, and it's really good. I'm gonna look.
You want to check on the?
Yeah.
You want to try one?
I want to try it. Not one yet, but I'm gonna try. Okay.
So usually, at least with like my mom, she likes to do them with like more cheese than we do, because we're like second generation, so we're not the OGs, so we don't necessarily know how to make it perfectly, but we try our best, and so this is how we make it usually.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your curtido and you're gonna put it all over, because as I said, this is a messy dish. You're gonna put it all over the place, kind of just like this. And
That's
then
a lot.
It is a lot, because you need a lot. So after you have all that, you're gonna take your salsa and get it kind of, you're gonna get it all over the place a little like that. That's a lot of salsa too.
That's a lot of salsa.
And this is how you're gonna eat it.
You want to show them how to eat it?
Okay, I'll eat the vinegar just this once.
You're eating it like that? Like a taco?
So yeah.
There we go. That's how you're supposed to eat it. I want a baby one. I like the baby ones because they're more flavorful to me. But yeah.
So, thank you for watching our video on how to make pupusas and just how to eat them and a little history behind it. You should definitely try making them on your own. They're really easy, as I said, and they're really good. Yeah, thank you for watching.